LeWeb Paris konferansının son günü bugün, öğle arasındayız ve yanımızda Jeremiah Owyang var. Crowd Companies'in kurucusu ve bilinen danışmanlardan da bir tanesi internet ekonomisi konusunda. Hello Jeremiah, it's really nice to see you here together with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a joy.
Yeah, it is actually. Well, the theme of this conference is next 10 years. And we all know that the crowdsourcing is one of the main driving forces behind the internet economy lately, and which is also the focus of your new company, the Crowd Companies that you founded. Can you give me a bit detail about the main purpose of the company and why you founded it?
Well, there's a big change right now. We're seeing that people are empowered to get what they want. They can crowd fund, crowd design, crowd 3D print, crowd ship products and market and support them. And that's called the maker movement, right? Crowdfunding and the maker movement. And we're also seeing that people are sharing their own products, called the sharing economy. And what it means to corporations is people are empowered to get what they need from each other rather than buying them anew. And for the big brands that are here at LeWeb, that's something they really need to pay attention to. So I've started a new company called Crowd Companies. And it's a brand council, also known as an association or a private membership, just for the big companies to come learn about this topic. And then there's startups in this space who I will help them partner with so they can be part of this new economy.
So you're matching them?
In a way, I mean, I'm not directly saying, hey, you go there, but I let them introduce to each other. So it's a platform for everybody to win. So we have a mission. The mission is empowered people. Those are the people that are creating things and sharing things and crowdfunding. And resilient brands. Those are the big corporations and resilient means to be agile, connected, built to last, and profitable for shared value. So empowered people, resilient brands for shared value.
Okay, if I may see you as a futurist as well, may I ask you for the next 10 years, apart from crowdsourcing, what kind of technologies do you foresee?
Yeah, okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. So the rise of wearable computing has been definitely a theme, and people are talking about that. But we talked about the Internet of Things or the Internet of People, but I think everything in our bodies will soon be tracked. These devices will know when you need to eat before you do and get food for you. These devices will know when you need to go to the bathroom before you need to know, and will help guide you to where you need to go. These things will tell you when you need a doctor before you need to go. So it'll start to predict what we need in our lives, and that's really fascinating and honestly a little bit scary, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, some people say that actually it's not that possible to predict what will happen in the next 10 years, but sometimes that you can. Do you believe that the humanity, I should say, will be able to develop those technologies in just 10 years?
Those things are going to happen faster than 10 years. I don't think it's possible really to look out 10 years. I mean, I was a research director at Altimeter Group, and our job was to look at the future. I was a Forrester analyst designed to look at the future, and honestly, we can only see like 3 years out with some pretty good certainty. It's really hard. And honestly, you know what? Anybody says that they can see 10 years in the future, they're never going to be on stage to talk about it. Because they're going to be off investing and building it. Exactly. They're not going to be on stage. So anybody who really thinks they can see 10 years out may be untruthing a bit. We don't know. That's why it's called the future.
Exactly. Okay, here in LeWeb, you made a speech. What were the main advices that you gave to the audience?
The big point here is that crowds and corporations need to work together. And over the next few years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we'll start to see that the crowd will fund products, design products with corporations. They'll also be able to build the products, and even the companies will help in selling it or making it more mass scalable. So we'll see the crowds and companies working together to create new things. And we haven't really seen that happen at scale in the physical world. Yeah, we've had social media, but that's really just been communications. Now it's time for products to be social. Now it's time for the supply chain to be social. Now it's time for the business model to be social. So that's what I'm focused on in the next few years.
Cool. My last question is about the markets. In the last couple of years, we see more American investors looking towards Europe more and more, or even Eastern Europe and Middle East. Why do you think it is?
Because there's so much growth here and there's so much opportunity, and we're seeing that governments. So we had dinner. LeWeb' set up a dinner. We had dinner with the French Minister of Technology or the Minister of Startups. So there's been a lot of top-down support for these. You know, in London, there's certain areas where you are verifying for what's it called, the Silicon Roundabout. So we're seeing these tech centers starting to bubble up. So there's opportunity for people to be here.
Yeah, okay. But on the other hand, the EU legislation is still not very suitable for the American startups or the investors, I believe, because it's much more difficult here to do certain things, I believe. But what do you think about more eastern parts of?
I don't have enough experience, so you have to invite me to come out to your area. I don't know yet. So,
sure.
But I do know one thing. I do have an important message. When I do travel the world, every city says, we want to be the Silicon Valley for the Middle East. We want to be the Silicon Valley for UK. We want to be the Silicon Valley for China. Don't do that. Yeah. Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley. Build your own community. Don't try to replicate it. You can't replicate it because every single area is unique and special and has its own special things. Northern Italy, for example, high tech, a lot of, you know, some of the finest machines built there, right? High design. Don't become Silicon Valley. Just focus on creating the most awesome cars in the world, right? So don't try to be Silicon Valley. Make it your own.
We have digital bosphorus.
Oh, I would love to come.
Please, we have a Brazil Summit held in every September, and it's really popular, and you're welcome there anytime.
I accept your invitation.
Thank you, and thanks again for being with us before I come.
Thank you so much for having me, everybody.